And chapter 3. Oh, I forgot to change the title of the stream. I'll do that right now. There. Of course, the crystal shards themselves didn't protect people from the miasma. That was the myrrh that the caravans gathered every year in order to keep their town safe from harm. Crystal shards. Kirby 64. As Ms. Shizuka lectured in front of the class, I doodled absent-mindedly in my notebook. I missed the convention. It was so much fun hanging out with everyone and Gerard, learning about video games with Gerard, wandering the convention in the city with Gerard. I sighed dreamily. What if every day was like that? I got to spend all my free time with him. He would teach me all there was to know about video games, talking me about through all the stories I hadn't played, and showing me the completion bonuses I've never gotten. We would laugh together and share food together, and then finally one day on our 50th wedding anniversary, when Gerard was an old shriveled prune of a man and I a spitfire of an old woman, I would hand him his very own Princess Pumpernickel figure, and he would cry in joy as he looked at the figure and completed the quest that brought us together.
You.
Oh, that was so cute. Miss Mizuno. Miss Mizuno. Yes, what's wrong? Did they or did they not breed cows in the fields of Fum? Fields of Fum? Can someone tell me what that is a reference to? The fields of fun? What? Disappointing. Pay more attention, please, or I'll be forced to have you stay after class. Yes, ma'am. Sheesh, Hana, where was your mind at? Nowhere, you don't even have to worry about it. No, geez, I was really losing it. How completely embarrassing. But of course, when the time came for lunch, I was finally able to see Gerard again. I went shooting out the door. Hana! I shot out into the hallway and was about to head for the staircase when... Hana! Gerard came running down the hallway in just as much of a rush as me. I stopped by the door, flushed.
Hi.
Gerard, hi. Do you have somewhere to go today? No, I was just, I was really hungry today. Gerard blushed and avoided my eyes, but came to stand beside me. Neither of us could keep the smiles off our faces. Anyways, ready to head to lunch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starving. As I pushed open the door and Gerard passed me by, I saw Mai and Jared standing across the way. They were both staring at me with smug looks on their faces. I knew exactly what they were thinking. What? Nothing. Gerard and I waltzed out into the campus together, the sun soaking our faces. My mood was lifted as high as the clear blue sky, and I beamed. I felt really good today. It's so weird to be back at school after the con. Isn't it? I miss it all.
Yes!
Me too! It was great to be able to see my friends all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. It's so tough to be separated from everybody now. Yeah, it's lame. I wish every day could be like a con, even after we graduate from Asagao. But that would be pretty hard, wouldn't it? I'd have to buy more than a mansion. Maybe an entire road of houses just for my friends to live in. But that would be so fun.
Right?
Wouldn't it? Giddily, we entered the cafeteria, chatting animatedly. It was almost as if though there was no one else in the room but Gerard. Anyways, Hana, I was wondering, I'm going into the city today to check for Princess Pumpernickel. There's a lead in a small shop there. Would you like to go with me? I know you're not too not too into IBKs, but
Yeah.
of course I would.
Really?
Really? Great. I wouldn't mind learning more about them. Either. Chibi-Upa is really cute. Do you like her then? Oh, of course. She's on my desk lamp. I see her every morning when I wake up. That's great to hear. It's really cute. Pardon? So I'll see you after class? Definitely. Some of the rest of the guys got to the table before us. Apparently we slowed down somewhere on our walk here. We sat down, ready to rejoin them in normal conversation, but they dropped whatever they were talking about as we approached. I side-eyed Mai, but she just laughed. Whatever, I didn't care. My feelings for Gerard were obvious, just as long as he didn't find out. Shaking my head, I set my sights on the next few hours. Soon, Gerard and I would be in a train again, heading towards the city. So immediately after school, Gerard and I raced to the station for the very first train to the city, giggling like maniacs. We made it to the stop just as it was boarding and piled into a compartment, wheezing like numbskulls. Looks like we got our exercise for the day, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Where's the shop that we were heading to anyways? It just opened. That's part of the reason why I'm heading there. I need to put my feeders out. The guy seemed like he was a big IBK collector, so if anyone is bound to have it, it's him. Anyways, how is your tournament practice going? Oh, right, that. After the excitement of the convention, I forgot that I still needed to practice for the tournament while I was here. Seeing the guilty look on my face, Gerard shrugged.
Well,
Don't worry about it. We got 3 weeks, so there's still time. Let's see, how many points do we have? Still 15. Okay. Just Gerard missed me as much as I miss him. Doesn't seem realistic, but I think I'm finally starting to hope. Cool. Yeah. 3 weeks always seems like it's a lot of time, until it's not anymore. Oh, I know that feeling. A bit too well. I know what you mean. I haven't had time to practice much either.
Really?
Don't you do quick plays or something?
you are
They're called speedruns, and I don't do just any speedruns, but completionist speedruns.
complete.
Complete it. Get every item in the game and complete it as fast as you can. It's just as time-consuming as you think, and it takes a lot of practice. My event also starts the earliest of all of them, and goes the latest, so it's a bit of an ordeal. I had no idea games could be so stressful. We get breaks, and it's nothing compared to competitive RDS players, or even MOBA games. Have you seen those? There he was again, spitting out jargon like I was supposed to know what it meant. I shook my head slowly. They're crazy! They're like real athletes! They can earn real athlete money too! It's crazy how much things have changed in the last few years. Games are art, games are sports, games are trash, games are friendships, games are communities, games are stories, games are characters, games are creations. It's such a big, wide world out there. I can't imagine how anyone could just not be interested in it or write them off, but a lot of people do. It felt like it somehow touched a nerve, but nodded politely. I didn't grow up with games, so I never thought about how important they could be to people. The train shuddered to a stop, and a little chime played. Gerard and I headed into the city. Well, think about it this way. None of us would be friends without games. Or maybe some of us might be, but not all of us. We have this thing to unite us, when everything else fails. He sighed. And remember how I was talking about having all my friends live in houses near each other? That might not ever happen, but we will always be able to play games together. That's basically the same thing. He nodded slowly. Gerard's friends were clearly very important to him, and so were games. So then, do you have plans for the future? Gerard looked up from his phone, glancing across the street, then beckoned for me to follow him. Future plans? Nope. Okay. I am very much Gerard. Just maybe not as determined as a completionist, but yeah, I'm very much Gerard. At least this in-game, Gerard. He beamed at me, then led the way across the crosswalk.
Really?
No? Just no? I hurried after him, completely confused. Much of my life was spent in anxiety for one particular reason. I did not have a passion. That's something I also worried about sometimes. I would watch my mother and father work together at their jobs, complementary work, both dedicating all their time and energy to their own creative pursuits, and wondered whether something was wrong with me. My dad would pat my head and tell me to live my life happily because I did not need to know how. But that didn't help. Without passion, life was incomplete. That was the picture I got. I didn't have the desire to keep working on something just because I enjoyed it. Eventually, I would get tired, and if I didn't have to spend more time on that thing, I wouldn't. The only times I did. You knew you chose Gerard's route IRL. The only times I did were when other people were involved. I got good grades, so I would be praised, and so I was good at something. If nothing else, if not bold or creative or athletic, I was smart. That was all I ever felt I had going for me. Yeah, no, I haven't figured that out yet. But you're so talented. You could pick anything you wanted to. All I really want to do is entertain, or maybe play video games. It would be great to find a way to do both, but I don't know what there is. But I don't know that there is yet. Maybe I'll find something though, or I can create my own thing. He laughed heartily. I'm sure it'll work itself out. Gerard, rather than inspire me for the first time, Gerard's positive attitude grated my nerves. Ooh. Things aren't always as easy as that, though. You need to survive. You can't just pick a field because you haven't figured it out. You can't just create your own job.
What?
Why not? There are bills to pay. Gerard looked at me quizzically, and I stopped myself. Right, you probably wouldn't understand what it was like to worry about where your next paycheck came from. These people, all of them, came from wealthy families. They didn't have the same problems I did. Never mind.
All right.
Well, here we are. Gerard pointed to a small shop with an open sign in the window. It didn't even have a title over its entryway yet. A paper hung on the door with Jaeger's Finds in black Sharpie. After you! Gerard and I stepped into the shop. It was small, cramped, and somewhat dingy. Rows of wire racks stood across the room every few feet. If they were placed any closer together, there wouldn't be room to walk. I peered at the different things lining the shelves: game discs, portfolios of cards, small figures with numbers across the bases, dice, plushies, bouncy balls. Gerard made a beeline for the man at the counter.
Hello.
You wouldn't happen to have a Princess Pumpernickel figure lying around, would you? The man behind the counter scoffed, as if the answer should have been obvious. If it ever comes in, could you let me know? Gerard exchanged information with the man, who tsked at him. I could tell from the way he was shaking his head, dreadlocks trembling, that he thought Gerard's search was hopeless. We returned to the street outside. Gerard no worse for wear than before. As we headed back to the train station, I finally asked what had been on my mind for some time. Gerard, why exactly do you collect things?
I like what I like.
Why? Well, because I like them, of course. Okay, that's fine, but why do you need to complete your collections? It seems like a lot more work than it's worth, and it probably costs a lot too. Well... He stroked his beard carefully as we set off across the crosswalk. I mean, why do people do anything? That's a hard question to answer. In the end, it's because I want to. And completing things gives me a sense of accomplishment and closure. I get a sense of satisfaction when I look over everything I've done. I know it sounds silly, but in another way, I look at the collections and I remember how I've changed.
See what I mean?
It's like, oh, that used to matter to me a lot. He shook his head. I don't know. Haven't you ever collected something? Yeah, but never on purpose.
Really?
Like junk. Really? Never? Someone just gave you all the things you collected and you never bought something for yourself? Nope. I stopped mid-sentence. There was a shop to my right, a craft shop with lovely patterned papers and yarns.
Hana.
Anna, are you okay?
What?
What? I blinked. I stopped in the middle of the road. A man walking past scoffed at me, annoyed that I was in his way. I stuck my tongue out at his back. The paper here is really pretty, that's all. You like origami?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my parents are really creative and they taught me how to fold things. I got really good at it after, around the time my mother passed. I haven't done it much since then though.
Hey.
You should do it more often. It seems like you like it. No, that's okay. Come on, we're going to miss the train. As we sat in our compartment on the way back to Asagao, I couldn't help but review the conversation in my mind. I understood that it was just the way Gerard was, but it did seem a good enough reason for all the effort he was going through. It was a figure after all. It wouldn't give him lasting happiness or anything. Gerard was staring out the window, a troubled look on his face. You know, thinking about it more, at this point I might do it more because it's who I am than anything else. Do what? Collect things. It's fun and it's a part of me by now. It gives me a quest to go after and something to define myself by, right?
Exactly.
I'm dedicated and disciplined and persistent, and if I work hard enough, I'm rewarded for it. I like that feeling. It feels like I can impact things. It's like that's something everybody needs in their life. I think that's something everybody needs in their life. Impact things? Gerard nodded. Don't you have something like that? By the time we got back to campus, night had fallen. We jogged for the entrance, and Gerard escorted me back to Primrose House.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming with me, Hana. No, thank you. It was fun to spend time with you again. I'm sorry I didn't find Pumpernickel. Gerard shrugged. That's okay. It gives me something to look forward to. He pumped a fist in the air.
Finish it.
Finish it. Someday I shall prevail.
See you later.
Anyways, I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye, Hana. Have a good night. I headed for my dorm room. A resolution formed in my mind. If Gerard was going to find Princess Pumpernickel, he'd eat more than just his eyes looking for them. Tomorrow, I would find Whoa, that's quite the goal. Tomorrow, I would find Princess Pumpernickel. And that's how I found myself riding the train after school the next day, not even taking the time to change. If there was a way I could find Gerard's elusive Princess Pumpernickel, and then I could present it to him, I wanted to make him happy. And if he was happy, I would be happy too. I wandered the city aimlessly, watching people float by me with a sinking feeling. Where was I even supposed to go find it? I wanted to check some out of the shops, maybe junk and antique shops and the collection of old nerdy stores run by people who were just as big of fans as Gerard was. I ran willy-nilly into the city without even a plan to my name. With a sigh, I pulled out my phone and I typed IBK figures into the search engine. Oh, there was one only a few feet away. I zoomed in on the map, trying to figure out where the hell I was in relation to the directions it was giving. It seemed to be on the other side of this block, but which way was I supposed to go? I glanced up and around me and then came to a full stop. There was an alley just to my right, and through it I could see the orange and purple sign of Neil's Electronics, and etc.
Yay!
Awesome! Uh-oh. I started into the alley. What a convenient shortcut. I hated navigating cities more than anything, as much as I liked the cities themselves. I wasn't familiar enough with them, so they were incredibly daunting, especially with the way people brushed past you like they didn't care at all. As I reached the middle of the alley, a looming figure stepped out in front of me. Who's that? Hello there, miss. A man with a mile-long pompadour stepped out to block my path to the store, twirling a chain with something glinting on its end. My eyes followed the glinting thing, trying to catch a glimpse of what it was. And noticing this, he brought it to a standstill. My heart stopped. It was a knife. That's a real nice backpack you got there. Come from a rich family, do you? I backed away slowly, clutching my backpack to my chest with both hands. My entire month's allowance was inside of it. Without it, how was I supposed to eat? Robber sneered. I don't suppose you want to let me have a look inside of that, hey? Maybe you'd even want to give it to me. No! I turned around and started to run, but didn't get far. A sharp jolt of pain shot through my ankle and I cried out. I fell face first into the ground, biting my lip as I fell. Ow! The iron taste of blood trickled my tongue and I spat it to the side. I tried to stand, but the pain made me fall back to the ground. The robber walked casually up to me. Hehehe. Easy as taking candy from a baby. He held a knife in one hand, reaching out to me with the other. I scooted away as quickly as I could, eventually running into the wall. There was nowhere left to go, but the knife kept coming closer. Tears in my eyes, I flung my arms over my head. Gerard, help! Well, what's going on here? And Gerard was there. I lowered my arms, completely flabbergasted. Gerard stood in the alleyway, a semi-pleased look on his face, as if he were greeting an old friend instead of confronting an armed robber. You!
Hey!
Who could that be? Baggy! So we meet again. What? The robber, Baggy, stepped away from me, holding the knife up towards Gerard. They seemed to know each other somehow. Gerard stepped between me and Baggy, a dangerous glint in his eye. I quickly scooted behind him. Gerard! If you wouldn't mind laying off, Hana, that would be great. I doubt you'd like Mistress Violetta to hear about this. You wouldn't dare! I'd slit your throat before you got the chance! Gerard pulled his cell phone out of his pocket, and it already opened his hand. He turned the screen towards Baggy, thumb hovering over the send button. Would you? Baggy glanced around himself, trying to figure out some way to escape. Finally, he looked back at Gerard, rage practically shooting off of him. You haven't heard the last of me, Gerard. Someday I will have my revenge.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, tell it to your mother. And make sure to tell her hi. I will, she says hi back. Nice. Baggy pocketed his knife and wandered out of the alley, heading to who knows where. Gerard watched him until he was out of sight, then bent down next to me.
Hana.
Are you okay? What are you doing all the way out here? In an alley by yourself? How did you know that man?
Huh.
Oh, me and the Baxter used to go to school together. Such a card, that one. Card. But are you okay? Tears filled my eyes. I was so relieved to see him. The impact of what just happened was finally hitting me, and my throat tightened until I couldn't reply. Gerard's gaze traveled from my face to my hands, clasped tightly around my ankle.
Hold the phone. What?
Wait, are you hurt? Oh. Gerard swept me up in his arms, as if he were carrying a princess. He smiled at me, readjusting his grip. I put my arms around his neck, instinctively trying to make it easier for him. Don't worry, I've got you. Gerard. I'm taking you to the infirmary. You can't afford hospital fees, right? Don't worry, I'll always be here when you need me. Gerard started out of the alley. As soon as we emerged onto the street, people started to stare, giving Gerard very strange looks. My mind finally caught up with what was happening, and I buried my face into his shoulder. Gerard, put me down. I'm fine. I can walk on my own.
Nope.
No, under no circumstances. What if it gets worse? Besides, you're hardly heavy at all. So he said, though I could feel his shoulders straining underneath me. I no longer saw the people around me. All I felt were Gerard's arms, and the steady bobbing motion of his walk. It was comforting and steady, and finally I realized what could possibly have happened to me had Gerard not been there. Then I started to sob, unable to hold it in any longer. Gerard! Gerard, I was so scared! Gerard patted me as gently as he could from the way he was awkwardly holding me. Well, you don't need to be anymore. I'm here for you. Gerard's shoulder muffled my sobs, and I didn't pull away from him until we got back to Asagao. Aww. Gerard pulled open the door to the nurse's office, carrying me through. Mr. McPasta barely even looked up from his desk. With a single glance, he pointed to a bed in the back of the room. Gerard placed me gently into it, then shook out his arms. He was breathing rather heavily, but was doing his best to hide it. Shame crept down my neck, but Gerard didn't complain. He probably didn't want me to feel bad.
Are you feeling alright?
Are you feeling alright? I think I hurt my ankle. How did that happen? I tripped. He raised an eyebrow, but took a cursory glance at my ankle, and he poked it. Does this hurt? Yo! It's only twisted. Get some rest and it'll get better. You gotta pass out. It's 3:30 a.m. and you have school later. Okay, have a good night. No problem. It will be uploaded to YouTube. He glanced from me to Gerard, then smiled a creepy smile. I've got to run an errand real quick, but I'm sure you can leave. I can leave you in this care. Where Creeps left, his coat sweeping out behind him like the wings of a great white bat.
Hana.
Hi, Hana. Why were you in the alley in the first place? Why were you wandering the city alone? It's not like walking around the city is that dangerous. Yeah, but it seems like you lack the street smarts that people get when they're raised near cities. Touché. Although I could just as easily ask you the same question.
Hana.
Hana. Fine. I was there looking for Princess Pumpernickel. I thought I could check around, maybe if I found it. I flushed and trailed off Gerard's side. Hana, I've every store in the 300-mile radius on watch and ready to alert me if it comes into stock. You don't need to worry yourself trying to find it for me. Why are you going through all of this trouble? Like you don't go through a ton of trouble for me, for all of us. I just wanted to repay you. I bit my lip. And there's another reason, kind of.
Well...
See, I had a collection on myself when I was younger, or something like a collection. When I was little, my mom got sick. Really sick. I was basically guaranteed that she was going to die, but as a little girl, I don't know. I was basically guaranteed that she was going to die, but as a little girl, I didn't understand that. I just saw my dad suffering as she grew weaker. My mom stroking my face as she gradually lost the will to keep fighting. But I heard the myth of the 1,000 paper cranes. If you can fold 1,000 origami cranes, your heart's desire will be granted. At least that's how I understood it at the time. So I tried. I tried really, really hard to fold 1,000 paper cranes, but in the end, I only made it around 700 before my mother died. As my dad and I stood by our bed, I kept thinking to myself, if only I had been better, if only I had been faster. If I could have folded the 1,000 cranes, she could have lived. Hana. So when I see you trying so hard to finish your own collection, I guess it just reminds me of little Hana. I want to grant her wish, even if I can't fulfill her heart's desire. Hana, I'm so sorry. No, it's okay. I'm a little surprised myself. I always figured I just wanted to help you out. I didn't connect it to that memory until just now. It's silly, isn't it? I playfully bonked myself on the head, but Gerard didn't even crack a smile. So then, the origami yesterday. I nodded. That's why I stopped folding origami. I haven't really found much joy in it since then. That's why I don't want to go back. But the paper in that shop was beautiful. For the first time, I almost wanted to start again. Gerard searched my face, and then he took my hand in his.
Thank you.
Hana, thank you for trying so hard to help me. It's no problem, really. I want to. You two done talking? I'll need some rest, a good nap, and some crutches to get back to her room. And she should be good as new within a day or two.
Yes!
That's great! In that case, I'll leave you to rest.
Gerard.
Gerard! I grabbed his sleeve as he stood to leave, then glanced at the floor.
Um,
Thank you for saving me.
Sure, I'll do what I can.
If I had to, I'd save you 1,000 times more. Whatever it took to keep you safe and happy.
Bye.
I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Gerard turned towards the door, and as he pulled it open, he looked at me again.
I promise.
Don't forget, I'll always come help when you need me. And then he was gone. Creep sat next to me. Love birds these days, I swear. Anyway, have a good night. He shook his head, then drew the curtains around my bed. I stared at the infirmary curtains in front of me, distinctly aware of Mr. McPasta's every move. For a while, I was silent. He was clicking around and typing on the computer, probably entering in my medical information. I shifted, trying to get comfortable enough to fall asleep, but Mr. McPasta's presence wasn't something that was very soothing. That's what I was thinking anyways, until I heard him giggling. When his giggles finally faded away, I caught the faint meow of a cat. Then the giggles started again. I was watching cat videos on the internet? I chuckled myself, nestling into my pillow. If he liked cats, he couldn't be that bad of a guy. The sound of cat videos sang me to sleep. I was escorted to my room after I woke up. Mai was distraught when she saw me, but after I told her what happened, her expression changed.
aww.
Gerard save you? How romantic! Ugh. Mai. I was on my phone searching the internet for some kind of movie to watch when it went off in my head. Mr. Mapasa said you went back to your room. Feeling okay? It was Gerard. Warmth bloomed in my chest. Yeah, don't worry. No, he wouldn't believe me. I'm still a bit shaken. No, that would make him worried. I should just tell him the truth. I'm fine, just need rest. I smiled and sent the message. As I watched the typing symbol again appeared on the bottom of the screen. And then it disappeared. No wait, there it was again. Or not. I watched it appear and disappear, a smile on my face. Finally he responded, cool. I giggled and resumed my internet browsing. Gerard was just too cute. The walk to class the next day was punctuated with the whispers and pointing of fingers. Somehow, word about my being attacked in the city got out. Fancy that! As I carefully left the stairwell, conscious of not injuring myself any further, a small, warm something collided with me. Hana! Oh my god, are you okay? What? Yes, I'm fine. I heard you got attacked by ninjas in the city! Oh my gosh, tell me everything! Mimi looked up at me with wide eyes, all the appearance of concern and compassion. Mai put a hand on her lip. What are you doing, Mimi? What are you talking about? I'm just concerned for my friend Hana here. She slung an arm around my shoulders, rubbing my back like I was a baby who needed to spit up. My poor girl, you must have been so scared.
No.
No, not really. No, but the ninjas. There were no ninjas. No, but still. She tried to argue further. Ian walked past. Mimi drew me tighter against her. Well, I'm so glad you're okay, Hana! Ian stopped in his tracks and turned to us. Beside me, Mimi shook lightly. She was scrunching up her face like she was trying to hide a grin.
Hana.
Hana, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. It wasn't a big deal. That's good. I would have been upset to lose my biggest competition. Take care of yourself, alright?
Yeah.
I will! He nodded at me, smiling, and the small gesture almost felt like a hug. But then he turned to Mimi. Thank you, Ian. You. Me? You're probably the most two-faced person I've ever met, and I've met a lot of the kind. I normally wouldn't say anything, but profiting off of someone who hurt themselves, only complete monsters do that. If you don't think people can see through this, you're wrong. You're not helping yourself. Ian, you don't know that. No, I guess I don't. He left, a sputtering Mimi in his wake. She yanked her arm from me with a grunt, jostling me into my... Stupid. Stop doing stuff like this to make the guys like you. It's pathetic. Pardon? She slammed the door to the classroom, not even looking back. God, I always knew that girl was the worst. What is her problem? I mean, I used to be friends with her. It took me a while to see past her fake kindness. She didn't know anybody else, and she used me to get into volleyball games for free. She had a crush on the coach. Ew. Yeah, older men aren't that bad, but our coach?
This is so stupid.
Anyways, forget about her. She's not worth it. Thanks, Mai. We stepped into the classroom, avoiding Mimi's eyes as we did, but...
Hana.
Oh my god, Hana, are you okay? It was going to be a long day. Oh, Hana, my sweet, I'm so happy to be finally spending our 20th anniversary together. Gerard, I can't believe you brought us back to the place we met. It only made sense. After all, we had to complete the circle. No. But still, 20th anniversary. 25 years? How did it come to that? You don't look a day older, dear. And it's a good thing, too. Gerard grabbed my waist and pulled me into his lap, giggling all the while. Gerard, not here. Why not? Someone could see.
Oh yeah.
And why would that be a problem? Ah! Holy shit, what happened? Who's trying to kill us? I have a candelabra, I'm not afraid to use it. Mai sprang from her bed and into the middle of the room, wielding some kind of flaunting figure. Sorry, Mai. It was just... I had a weird dream.
Really?
Really? She relaxed and then immediately hit the figure behind her back. What's that? Nothing. Mai. Oh, would you look at that? I pointed to the wall above my desk, on which there was only a calendar, and tried to toss the figure into her bed. His head clattered against the bedside and fell to the floor. Mai, is this my Chibi-Upa figure? I glanced at the corner of my desk, and sure enough, Chibi-Upa was missing. I guess it is. Fancy that. Why do you have it? Oh, you know, it happened to be in my bed for some reason. It just happened in your bed? Alright, I wanted to look at it. Yeah, that feel. Alright, I wanted to look at it. Gerard's so into his IBKs, and you were taking an interest in them too, so... I was just curious. Oh, why didn't you say so? I would have let you look at it any time. Though it was sitting on my desk all semester, it wouldn't have been hard for her to look just by looking at it. I made such a big deal about how weird it was, I felt stupid trying to ask for them. Anyways, now you have it back. And we're not under attack. I'm going back to bed. Good night. Mike climbed hastily into her bed. No doubt embarrassed I discovered her secret. With a smile, I set Chibi-Upa back onto my desk and snuggled into my blankets. What kind of dream did you have anyways? I sighed. Looked like we were both going to bed embarrassed. My leg felt much better the next morning, which was a good thing because all morning I was paranoid I would see Gerard. I spent the walk to class ducking behind corners and jumping behind strangers. After the dream that I had, I didn't know how I could face him. It's just a dream. I watched the clock tick away the hours with increasing anxiety. Every time I looked up and I saw it was a new hour, my throat tightened. But of course, the time for my doom came. Lunch. Don't even worry about it. You'll be fine. I patted me on the back in her way, but I shook my head. As soon as we entered the cafeteria, I searched for the normal boots table for Gerard. But he wasn't there. I glance at the lunch line, out the door behind us, the spaces in between. Nothing. Where is he? Mai shrugged. You got what you wished for. I bit the inside of my lip and headed into the lunch line. As was usually the case, as Asagao served a mixture of foods from all across the world. With so many international students attending, it only made sense for them to do something like that. With our French and Thai food on our plates, we headed for the table. When we sat, I again searched the cafeteria. Nothing. Looking for something? I jumped. Satch, sitting next to me, was grinning devilishly at me. No, of course not. Satch laughed and jerked a thumb behind him. Jar was at a table in the back of the room, a more private table surrounded by plants. He had an array of IBK figurines in front of him and was taking money from one of the students he was talking to. The student pocketed the Mac Skellington figurine, and George shook his hand. Jack Skellington. Great. Nice. He's selling his figurines? Only his extras.
Really?
Why they're so important to him? I thought he kept all his extras. Sad shrugged. That I don't know. Maybe he got tired of the clutter? Jart was now trying to pitch a kitty with lightning yellow hair and a giant ass sword to a scared looking first year. Great, that's Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. I turned back to my plate, trying to ignore my disappointment. After all, I didn't want to see him today. It was far too embarrassing. Nope, not at all. Lunch period passed by much more slowly without Gerard. It wasn't that the conversation didn't interest me, it was just that the spark of the whole thing was gone. Without Gerard's cheeriness and inclusive tendencies, the conversation veered towards games I had never seen or heard of. I pushed around my food, bored out of my mind. Finally, it was time to head back to class. With a grateful sigh, I got out of my seat and headed for the trash bin. Hana! Gerard, hi, fancy seeing you here. In the cafeteria, at lunch. Yeah, I'm glad I caught you. Since I didn't get to eat lunch with you today, I wanted to know whether you'd be interested in making up for it this weekend. Have lunch with you this weekend? Gerard was blushing slightly, a small smile on his lips. Was this a date? This was a date! Gerard was asking me on a date! You up for it?
Yeah.
With you, definitely.
Awesome!
That's great! In that case, I'll see you around noon on Saturday. Right, can't wait. As I beamed like a buffoon, I made eye contact with Mai. She slowly shook her head at me. Called it. Totally called it. Ah, shush. A real date with Gerard? I was more than ready for that. Saturday morning took it slow time coming, but when it finally did, I was ready. Mai was by my side, the one-woman equivalent of a team of stylists. She did my makeup for me, made sure my hair was extra silky, dabbed the right amount of perfume on my neck. And of course, she helped me pick out the cutest outfit, and the one I felt the most comfortable in. When I was all ready, it was just a matter of waiting. My baby Hana's all grown up. I'm so proud of you, honey. She pinched my cheek and I swatted her hand away. Stop that. It was only a few weeks ago we talked about dating boys and you acted like it was an impossibility. Now look where we are. Hana's got herself a BOYF. Stop, I do not. My cell phone vibrated on my desk and I snatched it up immediately. As I expected, it was from Gerard. Was he waiting outside? Heart pounding, I opened it up. Hana, I can't make it today. I'm really, really sorry. I'll definitely find a way to make it up to you. Oh. Is it him? I showed her the message, and her face fell as quickly as mine had. What the hell? Couldn't he have told you sooner than this? We would have wasted all the time. Mike caught the look on my face and started backtracking. I mean, I'm sure he wants a rain check. It's not like Gerard to do something like this. Yeah, it's not. He must really have not wanted to go with me. Oh, no. That's not what I meant, Hana. Aw, rather rhythmic knock tapped itself out against our door. My shot me a look. Well, if that's not Gerard, who is it? With a shrug, I went to the door, trying not to let the hope show on my face. Maybe it was a prank, or he changed his mind, or it was just Satch. Hi, Satch. Don't look so happy to see me, please. But I think I know why you're bummed. Gerard sent you his message, didn't he?
What?
How did? Gerard sends me to give you his most formal and sincere apologies. But seriously, he's really sorry. He wanted the message delivered in person, but I guess he got paranoid the weight. Would get your hopes up too high. But seriously, he's really sorry. He wanted the message delivered in person, but I guess he got. Oh, did I scroll back? Whoops. But why can't he come?
Well,
that I don't know. George's been acting strange lately. I know him almost better than anyone, and he's definitely going through something. But he's not the type to want to unload on others, so I'm keeping my distance. Out of respect. If he wants my help, he will ask. George is that kind of person. Thanks for the warning. Satch chuckled, patting me gently on the head. I knew you were, smarty. Anyway, I'll be going. You look really nice today, by the way. Thank you. Wait.
be good.
Be good. Later. Satch waltzed down the hall, all smiles and good cheer. It made complete sense why Gerard and him were such good friends. I headed back into the dorm room. Mai had her purse on her shoulder and he was looking at me expectantly. Yes? You ready to go? Go where? Out to eat, silly! It's my treat today! There's a great chili place just off campus. Thanks, Mai. What are you thanking me for? I'm just hungry. Come on, I'll starve to death the way you're dawdling. Once again, I found myself thinking, I was so lucky to have Mai. I was both dreading and anticipating running into Gerard after that. Dreading because I didn't want to see him try and avoid me or run away in shame. Then I would know he made a mistake. But anticipating because there was only one thing I wanted to know. An explanation. But after that day, Gerard stopped coming to the cafeteria for lunch. Nobody knew why, but nobody was particularly concerned. Sometimes Gerard just gets an idea to do something, and he doesn't stop until it's done. I think he became such a legendary completionist. It was fine for them, but I wasn't satisfied. Not at all. It was that dissatisfaction that led to me standing in front of Gerard's door, hands twisted into my skirt. I'm just checking on him, just to be sure. I raised a trembling hand to the door and knocked. In the past, every time I knocked on Gerard's door, it flew open within seconds. Gerard's smiling face behind it. This time, it didn't open. Gerard? I knocked again. Was he really not here? Where else would he be? But this time, I heard a rustling behind this door.
Hana!
Hana, is that you? Yeah.
What's up?
What's up? Are you okay? Can I come in? The latch turned and the door slowly creaked open, about 1.5 inches. Gerard peeked through the crack, apparently trying to block as much of the room inside as he possibly could. I would love for you to, Hana. I really would, but, I'm busy. Busy? Is that why you haven't been around lately? I've been worried about you. Yes? He glanced into his room, then pulled the door a bit closer to him. I've just got this huge school project due soon, like, so huge. Like, you don't even know how huge. It's like, it's crazy, man. I nodded slowly. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah!
Yeah, you get it? So it's like so big. I'm like, oh man, this is just so big. It's like crazy big. Jeez, so much, you know? So, I really can't afford to take time away from it. He glanced into his room again, pulling the door even closer to him. At this point, I could barely make out his eye. He was clearly lying, but even so, he genuinely didn't want me there. I thought of Satch's roundabout warning. Maybe this was what he was talking about. Okay. This is a difficult one. Because personally, I would... It says demand an answer. And that's not something I would go with. Because I would, like... ask him what's going on. Like... There's definitely something bugging him. And it's better in the end to talk it out and, like, solve it together. But if I were here to demand an answer, I think it wouldn't be very good for the relationship between him and Hana. I think I should let it go. So I'm gonna let it go. Well, okay, I'll let you go get back to it then.
You're the best.
Really? Sweet, thank you, Hana. I knew you'd understand. I smiled half-heartedly.
See you later.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Thanks! See you around! That's what he said, but I did not see him around. Weeks rolled by, and suddenly the tournament was just a week away. I practiced my butt off and I was ready for it, but even then my mind kept straying to Gerard. Uh-oh. Oh. 15 tournament points, 1 week before the tournament. Uh-oh. What was he doing, and why was he avoiding me? Okay, and that's chapter 4. Maybe I should just finish it now. But then again, it is almost 1 AM. This is difficult. In any case, no, I don't. I need to make a decision now. It's almost 1 AM. I'm going to finish it later. I do have to do some other stuff. So thank you guys all so much for watching, and see you next time.